This is the Player to Pro podcast where every pitch of every game matters and where players, parents, and coaches come together to win both on and off the field. All right, so we have Jaycob Brugman on the show today, and it is my pleasure to have Bruggy on. And Bruggy, not only just a former teammate, but a really good friend, and we go way back, and it's always good to talk with Bruggy. So Bruggy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
It's awesome to have you. So Bruggy, a little background on Bruggy. He was drafted in the 17th round in 2013 by the Oakland A's. And I actually got to see him debut in 2017. We're on the same team in Oakland. And I actually got to see Bruggy hit his first career homer in my hometown, Chicago, at U.S. Cellular Field, whatever you want to call it now, off James Shields, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So on that, did you do anything different that at bat, or was it just pretty much just kind of ran into it?
Well, I was getting nervous because I wanted to hit that first one, and I think it had been like maybe a week or 2 weeks, and so you know how you get nervous, you don't get that first hit or something, and first home run. So I had a 2-0 count, and I was like, man, I gotta really just come loose here. I gotta try to hit something hard into the outfield, show that I could actually be a big league player. And I got a 2-0 fastball, and fortunately it went out. I was a little early on it because I got excited, so it was kind of off the end of the bat. So it just kind of scraped over the fence, and I was just so pumped.
Yeah, man. Hey, however it goes over, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure you got a lot of phone calls that night too. I'm sure your wife Allie was super pumped about that as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Bruggy, obviously you were drafted out of high school as well, though, right? You were drafted a higher round, more like but you didn't go. Obviously, you went to BYU, Brigham Young University, out of high school, out of Arizona. But
Yeah.
is there a reason why you didn't go out of high school into pro ball? Did you feel like you started to develop?
Oh yeah, it was a little later around, so there wasn't a lot of incentive to take it and go play pro ball. And I knew I was better. I knew I could get better. I think it was hard. It's a hard time in high school to really understand yourself and be able to make that decision. So I just listened to some of the people that were in my corner and said, you know what, I really want to play Division I baseball. And one of my things was I really wanted to go to the College World Series.
So did you ever get close to playing in the College World Series then?
No, I didn't. As I was looking for schools, I wanted to obviously go to the school that would give me the best chance. And I looked at a bunch of the big Pac-10 schools and did some visits. But ultimately, I chose to go to BYU. And at that time, they weren't really in the race to be – their program wasn't like set up to be a contender. But I chose the chance at BYU over another school because I knew I was going to play every day.
Right.
And I loved the people there and the city, and I just had a good feeling there. So I kind of just went with that feeling instead of solely basing it off, to go to the College World Series. So we went to some conference tournaments, and that was the closest we got. We never went past that, but I was okay with it.
Well, it sounds like my journey a little bit, because I always wanted to go to ASU. I wanted to go play at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Like you go to Arizona State, a good chance you're going to go play in the big leagues. But I went to Western Michigan University, like so it's like, which it's a solid D1 school, but the coach there said that I had a good chance to start to be a starting shortstop, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But
very similar. Yeah, that's how it went for me too.
Yeah, I think that's smart. It's that's putting your priorities first, right? Make sure that you get your playing time, and so yeah, you might have to sacrifice going to the College World Series. But did you guys get to go to the playoffs at all, or like you win the regional, anything?
Yeah, we went to conference tournament twice, um, which I think everyone goes to that. I think maybe I'm not sure, but um, we uh, we didn't win, but we came close one year. But just those games alone were fun. Just to not
Yeah.
play regular season games, play
Right.
tournament games. That's all I needed. That was my
Right.
fix right there. You know.
Right. Well, Bruggy, take us back to when you were playing club ball, travel ball, and the amount of time that you put into honing your baseball skills. Because I just talked to Gabe and his two sons about the sacrifices that I made for my summers, and I'm sure you're similar. The how you had to manage your time from playing with friends and going to school and playing baseball. I mean, I'm sure you had a similar experience.
Oh yeah, man. We so much time was spent playing, going to tournaments, driving a couple hours just to at like early mornings. Every day to go to those doubleheader tournaments you have. Um, and fortunately, I still have a really good memory of playing in the street with friends and
Right.
having family time and doing all that stuff. So my parents did a really good job of mixing it and making sure we weren't 100%, go baseball every day. It was they did a really good job of managing all their kids and being able to give me exactly what I need to grow up. But yeah, lots of time spent working on baseball because that was the only thing I loved. The thing I loved the most in the world, even at a young age.
Right. But I like how you said it was almost your parents' responsibility. It's almost like you held them accountable. Like as their child, you held them accountable for making
Yeah.
sure that they were taking this path the right way. Um, I think that's huge for a lot of parents and young coaches to understand that,
Oh yeah.
and I'm sure they do, but it's a lot on the parent, the time, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% committed to baseball. Did you play any other sports or do any other activities besides baseball?
Oh yeah. We had yeah. I did like growing up as a kid. I did a little bit of soccer, a little bit of we did basketball. I did basketball every year. That was my favorite thing, as well as baseball. So all growing up, middle school, high school, I played on the basketball team. Um,
You had a nasty jump shot, didn't you, Bruggy?
my jump shot was a little too aggressive when it came to my my adrenaline, so I couldn't control it that well. But I was very good at running up and down the court, playing good
Uh,
hands, and
Hustling.
and driving it to the hole. I could spring up there with the best of them. So the finesse didn't come till after I was done playing basketball.
Right. That's tough, man.
It
Hitting those
is.
outside shots, man. No. Well, I gotta. That's great though that you got to play different sports though. You got to build your athleticism playing basketball. Did you play football at all or?
I played 2 years of football in high school. Other than that, I wanted to stick to basketball and baseball.
Right. So I mean, obviously you had a social life as like a young teenager, or whatever, and
Yeah.
still playing club ball, getting into high school. How did you deal with that? Going out with friends and getting your homework done and all the prioritization.
Yeah, it was. I remember, I remember being tired sometimes doing some homework because I was, really going at it with baseball and basketball and all the sports. Um, but I never remember being burnt out or anything.
Mm.
And I really do go back to the parent thing. Is I think it's so important for the parent to realize to read situations, read the child a little better, and understanding how much time to put in and how much time to like say, okay, let's take a break, things
Right.
like that. Um, Really, I just all I remember is having the best time of my life playing baseball as
Yeah.
a kid. Going to those tournaments. That was it with the
So
friends,
just
everything.
right, just a super positive experience, and that's how I felt too because of the support of my mom and my dad for
Yeah,
sure. So as you went from club ball and, having that support from your parents, you're on your own now in college, right? And you have your own routine. Now you have classes that you have to get to, grades that you have to maintain. I know at Western Michigan, if we didn't maintain a 3.0, we weren't going on the spring trip.
Mm.
And I wasn't the best student in high school. And that kind of lit a fire under me. Said, all right, I need to hold myself accountable now. Now it's my game. Did
Yeah,
you feel the same way?
it's a little growing up time, and I think that's
Yeah.
what college is designed for. So it's yeah, I remember really trying to force myself to get into a good routine in school, study hall, and all that stuff, because if you aren't careful, I remember I would just a few days procrastinate homework and sleep in and do all that, and then I realized, like you said, man, I got to maintain a certain standard here with my classes, or else I can't play.
Right.
And it's the same as you, is it kind of like woke me up a little bit, and I was like, man, I just got to do it. I gotta grind here on classes so I could play baseball.
Did
No,
you have did you have much of a social life though? Did you feel like you were still like I mean, I probably the guys on the team were basically
yeah,
brothers to you, right? And they just
yeah,
whatever they were doing, you were doing.
exactly. I mean, there's not much social life in college besides with the friends and the teammates, um, and I loved my teammates. They're some of
Yeah.
my best friends I still talk to today.
Right.
So I I'm okay with how that all went down, because I got friends that I could call right now that I played with that are
Yeah.
just gonna be there for me.
Yeah. And that's how I feel the same way for my teammates at Western Michigan. Still talk to them, a lot of them today, and it's just nice to have that
Oh
that
yeah,
brotherhood, that relationship
yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
But there was to actually play college baseball. There's a lot of sacrifices though that you have to make. That I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't. I mean, if you want to touch on that, whether it's waking up super early to go to weights, or like for
Oh
me, I stayed on campus
yeah.
all day long. I didn't have I didn't get to go home and go hang out and watch TV at all. I mean, it was pretty much school, baseball, eat, and then repeat. But
Yeah, I don't remember ever sitting down on my couch in my apartment and watching TV.
we wanted to.
Now that you say that, and the early morning workouts, man, that was a grind. We had 6:30 workouts, 6:30 a.m. And a few months in there, we had some boot camp type stuff, and with an army guy. So there wasn't much time. We had a couple hours mandatory study hall. Just things like that. It was tough, but it's a grind that you're willing to go through.
Yeah, because you love it so much. You got so much passion and ambition just to inch forward to that next level, right? To the next day even,
Yeah.
to show up. I mean, that's the progression that gets you fired up.
Oh yeah.
But it's that competition within the team, and it's the competition that you have to prepare to face, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so going from college now to pro ball, you got married when you were young, and you had kids when you were young. You're only like what, 23 right now?
No, I wish. I'm 28.
But
I
still young, man, and you
got
got
two kids.
right.
Um, yeah, you know what? I I always say, like, people ask me, like, man, why'd you get married so young? I was like, well, I didn't mean to meet my wife that young. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, right.
And we knew, and got married in college, going into my junior year. Um,
Yeah,
and and we had our first child right at the end of my first pro season.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I love.
So, yeah. Well, of course, man. I mean, it definitely. I know when we had our daughter, you almost get that daddy strength, right?
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
something. So, all right, the point, because now my wife and my kids are almost holding me accountable now
yeah,
to provide for the family, but to meet my goals still. So I was thinking about this as we're talking, that when you're young, when you're in club ball, you put that on your parents. You're holding your parents accountable. Like
hmm
you're saying, hey, it's on you guys. It's your responsibility to make sure that I'm eating good, that I'm getting to my practice, that I'm getting the right competition, that I'm playing all different sports. So you're holding them accountable. When you get to college or you take the next step, you're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Right. But now when you have wife and kids and you're still playing baseball, now they're holding you accountable. It is right.
Coming full circle there.
Go
Yeah.
full circle, right? But but you did that when you're young, and it's commendable. It's cool to see, man, and see how hard you work with it. And
Yeah, looking back on it, it was a tough road,
right.
but it was really fun because I had our daughter and we were on the road,
Yeah.
all the way up from low A, high A, double A, and triple A,
Right.
and even the big
Unbelievable.
leagues. They were there. They traveled with me for a lot of it, and all I have is good memories looking back on
Yeah.
crazy hotel trips with my little daughter.
I know, we know all about that, man. But it builds your character, right? It makes you a lot stronger, and
Oh yeah.
um, it prepares you for the next phase of life as well. But so, as a baseball player, what do you feel like your strongest asset is, like, to help you to get through, or just kind of get you to the next level, or makes you show up and helps you compete? What's your strongest asset as you go through these different levels?
I think it's like what you said is you're playing for someone now, like they're relying on you. It's your responsibility for these kids to have a life and to put food on the table. Uh, I remember a quick story. I was in instructional league with the A's, and I was kind of swinging it well, right? And the coaches are like, "Oh wow, he's doing well," and hearing good things. And I remember one time it was early morning game, 10 a.m. or something, in Peoria, and we had to drive a long way. And I come out first pitch, lace a single right up the middle, and everyone was kind of just dragging, and you could tell they were dragging so early. But I came out ready, and I hit that hot shot single up the middle. And I remember hearing coming in, and the guys were like, you know, saying, "Hey, nice job, man! Like coming out of the gate strong." And one of the coaches said, "Hey, he's got a family to feed," because I had kids, and no one else had kids.
Right.
And so it kind of hit me right there. I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm playing for.
Right.
I gotta. This is my time to work and to get better, so I could put food on the table for my kids and get to the big leagues. These are the
Right.
steps to take." And
Right.
it kind of that when the coach said that, it kind of resonated with me, and I think that's kind of the edge that you're referring to. Is that's what drives me. That's the attribute that I have to propel me to work harder for success.
Yeah, it's great that you say that, man, because that's true for me as well. And I actually had that mentality when I was young.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I honestly, and I haven't really said this before, but like when I was young, going in high school, going to college, I was honestly thinking about my family. As crazy that sounds,
Yeah.
but I was thinking, like, how am I going to provide for my family the way that I want to provide for them? And I have ambition and goals to meet. And I know it's not easy
Mhm.
to have had a major league career, but that's the way I saw that I was going to be able to provide. And I was thinking about them, and that's what kind of drove me to meet my wife, Callie. And then once we had kids, it kept on driving me, and like that, I knew I was doing the best I could for my family. So that's a cool point you made
Yeah.
about what that edge that it gives you, that
Mhm.
the family gives. That's your strong suit. That helps you
Yeah.
succeed.
Yeah.
But with that comes a lot of time, because a lot of love, a lot of time, and there's no binge watching your Netflix like you used to like doing,
Yeah.
Dougie.
Yeah. It's a lot of sacrifice. I think
Unless
that's
when you're on the road, unless you're on an 18-hour bus trip on a
exactly.
sleeper bus, then you could just
Yeah.
binge away.
Download all the shows you want.
That's right. There's a time and a place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, a lot of sacrifice from the family and the wife. Um, you have to have a good wife to
yes.
backbone you during the whole journey of pro ball. So
Yeah, they have to definitely understand. I know Callie was a big well, she is maybe I should say was a big baseball fan. Like her whole family was. And I saw that before we even got
Yeah.
married, that we had the same, she had a lot of passion for the game. She really did.
Mm-hmm.
She still does, and a lot of great memories, but she definitely supported me all the way through. That
Yeah. Important.
Yeah, there's no question. No, Bruggy, this has been fantastic, man. This has been, I know, super helpful to a lot of parents and coaches out there to help their players. It's always great talking with you. I know I learn a lot. We've had some great
Oh
conversations.
yeah.
Trying to help, prepare you for your season a little bit, but not that I do too much, but
You're like my older brother,
yeah,
just a little bit older.
a little, yeah, like 10 years, but no, man, this is really cool. I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to share, but
Oh well, thanks for having me. I know a lot of young dads and coaches. They have a lot of questions. They don't really know how to. Maybe some of them don't know how to give the kids the right tools, or they think they're not giving the kids the right tools. But really, the bottom line is listen to the kid. I would say just be there for the child, right? And it's never a good idea to push to push on a kid baseball or one sport. It's really important to do it all to make sure they're safe in what they're doing, injury wise. Give them the right tools to be just a good athlete but a good person. I think that's kind of how it went with my route. My parents were great, and my high school coach was a very influential person to me, and he treated me like a human instead of a baseball player first.
Right.
And I think that's important just to really grow the kid. And it's, as you could probably attest to, is to go in pro ball is not easy. You have to be mature, and you have to be ready to um, do what's necessary, and you may have to sacrifice things, not just your parents anymore, like we talked about. And so it's important to teach these kids how to be a grown up and a mature person so they can succeed in pro ball, because it's not easy.
And I think that's hard sometimes because you want to come off as being positive towards them and being a good friend and being happy-go-lucky or whatever. You want
Yeah,
to come off as like a positive example, but sometimes you got to be firm, right?
yeah.
And sometimes you can't give them what they want, like what they think they need.
Hmm.
You got to give them what you know they need. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's the discipline or holding them accountable.
Yeah, and if it's something as far as like, hey, you can't go play this weekend at that tournament because you're not doing well in school,
Right.
or you're not helping around at the house. There's things that you can do that's not going to hurt their baseball career, but it's only going to help them.
Right.
And teaching them lessons like that.
And I think that's so tough for parents and some coaches to do that, to leave a child back, because that means they have to stay back too.
Yeah.
Right. They want to go. I think the parent, they want to,
Yeah, you hope they grow and take that to heart and be like, wow, okay, let me step it up a little. Let me do my work here so I can go play baseball. And I think
right.
that's just a huge lesson, and it's really hard as a parent. I haven't done it yet because our kids are young, but I can't imagine trying to do that. So I know it's something that's important.
Yeah. To understand that baseball is a privilege that you
Yeah,
get to play, like any sport, get to go and compete and get to be with your friends. It's a privilege.
yeah,
You gotta get your priorities straight before you get to really enjoy that opportunity.
yeah, yeah. That's the tough thing, but I'm glad you're doing this because it's helping out some coaches and some kids out there. I know it's gonna do well for a lot of people. So I'm glad you're doing this.
Well, thanks, bro. Yeah, even if it's just one,
Yeah.
that
Hey,
one something rings true, or that we
right.
that we help out. I mean, it's what we're doing it for.